All right. Hello. What's going on? Race Brain Podcast. My name is Rich Ryan. I'm one of your hosts, joined by Jack Bauer, Bracken Crocker. Today we have a decent amount to talk about today, boys. We got some OCR news that we want to cover. Some new happenings are starting to kind of roll out with the season that really kind of comes to a culmination in the fall. So we're about 6 months away from the high end stuff. So we're starting to get some of the information that we have been missing, and just some new fun news. Real fun news in that. Then we have the last chance qualifier in Cologne for Hyrox, which is going to be the first ever that we're going to see. We're not sure if we're going to get a live stream, so we're going to break it down for you. We're going to tell you exactly what it's going to be like anyway, so you don't even need to watch it. Jack,
we're gonna nail that order of operations in that event.
I think we should kind of write it down and then see what that's all about.
Yeah. Anyway, you were saying.
I was going to say hello.
Oh, hello.
BK, hello.
Greetings, Jack.
Greetings, Bracken. Yeah.
So shall we just dive into this OCR news? We have a couple of fun things. We have a couple of silly things. Let's start with something that is a little bit more, I guess, somewhat positive. It kind of goes along the lines of one of the not foolish, but more... What was the word we were talking about when we talked about Spartan not paying people? We weren't saying it was foolish, but we were saying like this is just like
illegal,
scummy,
morally wrong.
Yeah, nefarious,
insidious to their company.
Insidious was a word that was used for sure. But we have Tough Mudder prize money payouts were announced, and they have not paid from previous years. I'm guessing if Chris Rogowski has not been paid, I'm guessing she's also including Tough Mudder from last year.
I don't know. I don't want to sweep Tough Mudder under the Spartan umbrella just because they're under the Spartan umbrella.
Fair.
And
I understand why you wouldn't want to do that.
I mean that at face value, not with the sarcasm that it came with.
Because I think DECA are they mostly caught up, or they are caught up and Smart isn't?
I don't know about gyms.
Okay, yeah, that's
true. We don't know about the affiliates now.
I'm not sure if they have separate checking accounts, basically, is what I'm saying.
I asked Meg. She was owed for PEA, I think, and she got paid like a month ago. And that was like in August. So they're catching up.
She got paid.
They're catching
6 months. Take it or leave it.
That's. I mean, that's actually not awful.
I mean, it is
for OCR.
Yeah,
that's what they've done.
The craziest thing is that we used to all brag and post Instagram pictures about walking away from venues with your check or your cash in hand. It was a selling point of OCR, and now it's completely swapped. It's crazy how OCR used to be known for one thing, and now they're just known for the other thing.
It's tough. Jack, what's the prize money payout for Tough Mudder this year?
Yeah, World's Toughest Mudder.
World's Toughest Mudder.
I don't think the rest of the events end up having one unless it's an Alula type spinoff, but that's the prize money is brought on by the tourism board at the other part. I think that's where they got it for Alula. But anyway, World's Toughest Mudder 2024, this November. Solo prize money, it's the same as last year. 5,000, 2,500, and 1,500 for top three. It's lower than in previous years, but still $5,000, pretty solid. Prize money is back for teams. That is the biggest difference. In previous years, I want to say past 3-4 years, they just haven't had it for teams. They used to, because they had that Lindsay's Angels team when it was Atkins and Lindsay and Woods, and a few of them teamed up. You had the year with John Albin and Ryan Atkins teaming up against Chad Trammell and Robert Killian. Both of them reach 100 miles, but they lose to Albin and Atkins. So they ended up getting some like $50,000 bonus. It was real big. That might have been the biggest prize money in OCR up to that date, but they're bringing it back. Here's what I want to get your opinions on, though. Teams is a single category. So it's 2, 4, mixed, whatever. You're all in the same category. So it's going to be harder to do well with the 4-person team, you'd imagine, except team members no longer need to be on the same course at the same time, only for the first and last laps. So you could have like once every 4 laps you're running, from the interview with Giles that I heard, or Giles.
2 minimum?
I didn't hear a minimum.
So it could be just relay, like 1 lap
could
per
be
person?
Straight up.
I'd run a 4x1
style.
Yeah, you trying to do a 4x1?
Yeah, man. 4x1 by 24.
4x1 by 24? Let's get Kirk in the mix.
Why not? What's the worst that can happen there outside of injuring yourself? You get really chilly.
And
you
it's
got
like in Florida,
2.5 hours to warm your little handsies up.
Yeah,
There's
I got
gotta be
little
two people.
handsies.
I got
I'm
black
sure it's
mitts.
2 people on course.
You're sure?
Yeah.
No, I'm sure.
You're
I'm not
sure.
sure.
You're not sure.
It
I'm sure.
should be. Yeah. But Teams is in the same division no matter how many people you have. The split on course, I didn't get that info. I didn't hear it in the podcast. Maybe it was mentioned and I just missed that part. But I agree with Bracken. It should be, you shouldn't do a 4x1 versus a 2x1. Like that's just real hard to compete.
Well, if they actually cared about the teams at all, it should be all separate. Like it shouldn't be, or it should just be one thing. Like that's what I like the idea. I don't love the needing to run together for a team race unless there's actual elements on the course where you need.
I do like it.
People.
Oh no, I'm in Rich's court.
BK, defend yourself.
It's on brand with Tough Mudder. Tough Mudder is a teamwork based race. They design obstacles for people to have to work together. So in the spirit of their brand, I think it makes a lot of sense. If I were to start a race in a team race, would I make it partner based? Only if I could guarantee that you had to work together on a lot of obstacles.
Right.
But on brand, I should say. It's very on brand.
But there are some people who just show up simply to help people. You're going to get assistance at some point.
Can do it.
Even in the solar race. You saw it in a 10-miler with Lindsay helping people up the Everest in that 10-mile championship. Yeah, she's like, look how fit I am. I'm just going to stop and help you up. But yeah, I disagree with that, Bracken.
That's a cultural weakness. That's not a flex.
True.
She was physically incapable of not helping them and then apologizing.
That's a good point. But yeah, I don't like the. Did you guys watch World Cross?
No, I know what happened. Yeah.
BK, you guys.
Is Rich ahead of us on some coverage?
Come on, bro. Yeah. I got that Peacock subscription, ad free, even though they still have like the ads.
NCAA.
You're behind?
Right. I was all NCAA basketball.
Oh.
It's first year I've watched men's and women's all the way through. That's a lot of watch.
A lot of basketball.
I watched more women's than men's this year.
Across the board better.
The shot making's about the same. The dunks and the women's are worse for sure. But outside of that, everything's about the same.
The shot selection's worse for men.
It's so bad to watch.
Yeah, it's not good. But they have a
get off my lawn.
They have a relay at World Cross. It's like 4x2K or something like that, which I like. Sweet. Is really sweet. Like so, like having it be. What would it be? Like having 2 people out there running together, doesn't make any sense to me. Like where relay it'd be like 4 laps
beats teamwork every time.
Every time.
Yes.
In terms of performance. What I do like about it though is that your team was always hamstrung by the weakest link, in that it didn't just delay the time till your strong athlete got the baton. It held the strong athlete back. And that's again very Tough Mudder brand. From a visual standpoint, no, it's not good. But from the brand standpoint, it makes a ton of sense.
And just from like output.
Name any other sport, even like DECA relay, Hyrox relay, OCR World's team, every track event, World Cross, like you mentioned, you go separately. This is just, it's so different.
Here's where, and I make that argument on everything we ever talk about. We have no industry standard. I draw the line.
I don't care about the industry standard.
No. I'm saying I agree with you every time except Tough Mudder. When World's Toughest comes into play, that is not a sport. It's a standalone spectacle. And I do not apply any other athletic standards to that event. So you're right. I just don't care about it for WTM itself. It's its own entity.
Actually CrossFit does something like this, because I was thinking about this recently, where it's like anything that is output based, it's not like a skill or like scheme sport like basketball, football, whatever, where it is actually like a unit. When it's cross country, track and field, it's individual performances that add up to the total. And CrossFit, they love to do like synchro, and they'll also do the thing where it's like you're tied together. But I don't like that, because it does inhibit we're here to see fitness, right? The team aspect is kind of like
Hyrox doubles.
Hyrox doubles, same thing. I don't like that.
Tour de France is a bit of both. No one really understands how it works or why they do it that way.
You should watch that documentary on Netflix, by the way, Tour de France Unchained. Very good.
It's a lot of French, believe it or not.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
I started to, and I was like, oh, it's all subtitles up in French. I wasn't trying to
Here
read.
to read a book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what happened. Yeah, so okay, so we're not sure exactly what's going on with the money end of things for the team. BK
I'll
hates
defend that.
what?
They didn't have much money. And how do you choose which division to give it to?
Just make a
Delete
decision.
divisions.
Just
You can't
say
like
it.
does
pick.
mixed get it? Do women? Do men? Does 2? Does 4? Do we have too many divisions? Simplest answer: we're just gonna put it
One.
out there
Just
and
put
you
it
all
on
fight for it.
I love that's actually
It's the
great.
least offensive. It's treating everyone the same.
There should be that like a payout for like a mile, but it could also be a 4x4, or it could be like Centro could be up in there, and you'd be like, I'm taking them on. Like, let's see how it goes. I think this is a great idea. It makes sense. It's just breaking down barriers of what we think is possible. Tough Mudder. Yeah, whatever. The team thing. How much is the payout for teams?
I didn't get the numbers, but I'm assuming it's probably about the same as solo.
Yeah,
I'd
let's
imagine.
No, no way.
5 stacks, maybe
No.
4.
My
Well, we
guess
don't
is
know-
2,500 tops.
2,500 tops. Okay. You heard it from
If you're
Bracken.
giving 5 stacks for the most prestigious 24-hour race of the year,
They used to give 10 or higher.
I don't care what they used to give. Like,
Yeah.
if that's what they reduced down to, there's no way teams getting equal. No way.
I mean, yeah, I
I
guess
think
so.
they
What
will.
was the pay? I mean,
I hope you're right.
the Alula was a completely different thing, but it was about half, right?
I know Chris Brown and Veerman, they were going for, I think, 40,000. Yeah, all the teams were 40,000.
And the win was 80.
80 for Albin and Elisa Petrova. And then the teams, the 2-person were going for 40
So-
divided by 2. The 4s were 44. Yeah.
So
It'd be
BK
2,500, 1,200, 800, something like that.
2,500 divided by 4. I mean, that's not great. We can do it though. We could go.
Yeah.
We could just get like an Airbnb,
But-
hang out.
So let's actually
a
break this
camera.
down. Say it's 4x1
Ooh.
style. All right. You've got
Yeah.
24 hours of racing. I know that when they had the 2 people stick together and you had Woods and Atkins and like the whiskey and a bunch of other really fast people, they got 130 miles, I want to say. So that's 65 per person, but that's in a 2-person format. So you might be able to go slightly faster if you have double the rest over
150.
the course of that. You think 150 is what it's going to take?
Yeah, but I'm not going directly after you. I need someone to go through and get all the sunscreen off the obstacles. There's no way I'm dealing with that nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many miles are we talking about then, Jack? What are we thinking? 150.
I mean, if
60.
If it's 150, you're running like 30 something,
I could do that.
but that might be a couple weeks, like just based on the old calendar, and hopefully they give the date soon. But like Decker Worlds is around then, that's kind of a hard sell.
Oh, that's right.
Well, I've done
Tough
let-
Mudder
Let's
it
just
is
look
then.
at a mediocre ultra runner.
Yeah.
I've run a 50K in low 4, right? So
That's
30
good.
miles,
Not
4
terrible.
hours per, running straight through with vert. Like, there's no reason we can't average faster than that. Or even if you just add in obstacles and you average the same.
And it'd be about 3 hours rest, right?
Right. So I'm saying if it's
Yeah.
4 hours per 30 miles. 180?
Let's do it. We can 200.
I think 160 is a
hundo.
We got to see
number.
that prize money right there first. Yeah.
That shit is
See
going to
what's
be
worth it.
muddy. It's going to be wet.
Yeah.
Everyone basically runs, what would that be? 3 by 10 miles?
Well, that's like 3 by
Whatever.
10. 6 by, wouldn't it be 6 by 6? Is it 5 mile loops, right?
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was 5 miles because
That's even
people do
better.
like 20 laps.
6
that's
by
way
5
better.
miles.
Yeah,
Even
get off
better.
your feet sooner.
Mm-hmm. Less rest. But
And,
it's
and I'm
still
assuming
plenty of rest.
Kirk could be person number 4, like honorary.
Gotta be.
Gotta
Okay.
be.
I was gonna
Does
say
he
he's
still
not
do
even here.
OCR?
He did one last year. He's qualified for the series this year,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
which means he still technically does OCR
Yep.
Yeah.
by
So
my standards.
You would be the best.
Yeah.
He would be second best in terms of OCR. We'll see how
I don't
Jack
even
does
think it's
in.
close. Yeah.
Whoa, do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
see Bracken in Palmerton? I don't know if he's the second best right now.
We didn't see Kirk in any of these.
That's true.
Those laser
Did you
pistols
not see me make the semifinal really
saw it.
easily?
looking yoked.
Mhm.
The
Commented about it.
it was because of the laser pistols though.
It's
Why
what
I
have
didn't
you
make the
done
finals.
lately? And lately, I'm the best OCR racer in the Midwest.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's not even close.
Michigan's coming back.
Hundredths separated
mean-
from the next person directly off a marathon.
All right, we're doing this. On to OCRWC. Jack, I didn't see this. But before we started recording, Jack said that we found out the venue location for OCRWC. Jack, where we at? Where are we headed this year? BK, actually, you're qualified. Where are you going?
Bracken, he's the OCR racer. All that I saw was a post saying check your email. I checked my email. I didn't have an email. So Bracken was on the list. He can tell us where it's at.
I was taking my pre-race brain facilities break. Had my phone with me, of course.
Smart.
Opened it up, and because I'm qualified, I get to see it, Jack.
Yeah. Would you qualify in? Yeah.
Mammoth.
Year 2.
What are our thoughts? What are our thoughts on this? I mean, I like it's like an epic location. It's just extremely challenging to get to. The turnout last year, it ended up being much more like a North American type of championship than a world championship, but there was also some competition for the world level, and there will be more this year, it's looking like. So I don't know. It's fine. This doesn't make me excited. It doesn't make me upset. It is just, yeah, that's sure.
As someone who lives in altitude and likes running on that style of trail, it's kind of cool. The thought of traveling there, not cool. But I do think that when we did get, decent views of the course last year, is pretty exciting. And we had some great finishes realistically with Nicole and Lindsay at the end. I highly doubt we're going to see Lindsay this year. That would be a crazy turnaround because she's having a baby soon. But yeah,
I think soon. 3 months still.
Is it? Oh, okay. So she's like 6 months pregnant at this. Okay. So
yeah,
August,
we would imagine
early
like
August or so.
3 months postpartum. That's probably not.
Maybe she can pull a Lauren Weeks.
If she can't win, she's not the GOAT.
Yeah.
I'll stand on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's a cool venue, but it's going to be hard for a lot of people to get to, and they probably didn't get a whole lot of good feedback from people last year, being like, "Oh, it's really easy to get to." Like all that you heard was, "Well, we flew in somewhere and then had to drive 5 hours, whether it was Las Vegas or Reno or some other San Francisco." It's just a pretty hard place to get to, but stunning location.
I gave all my negatives last year on why it should be in Europe. It shouldn't be a crazy travel from any major city. It shouldn't be at altitude. It should be someplace with fantastic cell service so you can put it out. I gave all the negatives last year, so I'm taking the positive spin now. I like the fact that they're doubling down. Switching each year without announcing that your plan is to switch each year erodes the confidence in the brand. And so we tried something. It was a mistake. We're going to throw something else at the wall. They're not doing that. So we did it. Now we're going to do it for a second year. You can compare your performance year to year. We've already established how it's going to work. Now we can improve upon it this year. I like that. 2 years, then maybe you decide to head on overseas for 2 years. But I like if you're going to choose an event that you double down and make sure that you now make it great at that venue. And then we can go try something else.
Yeah, I agree. And giving people a chance, an opportunity to understand the demands of a race will allow them to prepare a little bit better. As opposed to switching it to completely different venues each time, gives it more of a consistent championship feel. So I agree, Bracken.
I'll be there to show how much I agree.
Where would you put it though next year, Rich?
Next year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably do something like, it doesn't need to be in England, but if it could be something similar to that style of course where it is.
Sweden.
Yeah, something like that, something European based, not with climbs that are 1,000 feet at a time,
right? Straight
Straight up and down. That's just a very specific style of racing that we are used to here, and especially on like the Spartan scene. And very few people have the ability to practice on like the very specific terrain. So I would just go back to something a little more flat, boggy. Tough like
I haven't yet this episode played the I've been here since the beginning card, so I think it's probably time.
Let's go.
I think sometimes what we forget when we talk about OCR Worlds is that in its inception it was the anti-Spartan. It was everything people didn't like about Spartan was fixed by this. Everyone was allowed. All the brands brought their obstacles. Everyone co-promoted, and it was at a venue that didn't give advantage to any one athlete over the other. That King's Domain course was technical in spots. It was smooth in spots. It had climbs, but nothing was longer than 2 or 3 minutes. It had water. It had mud. It had hard pack. It had gravel. It had rock running. It had a little bit of everything the entire time. And it was It was like the OCR World Championship where the OCR World came together to just let's have parity and let's celebrate OCR. And now what we get is we do get a OCR version of Spartan. We're going to head to high altitude. We're going to have long climbs. We're going to have watered down obstacles compared to previous years, a lot of time in between the obstacles. And so I would like to see it get back to its roots, which is let's have a neutral ground, not altitude, not any one skill set. I don't want it perfectly flat. I don't want it perfectly high. I want a mix of everything. And I want it in a location where everyone can get to without a reason not to go.
Yeah.
It's a lot of demands.
A lot of demands. BK, you ask a lot, you know? But hey.
He's been there since the beginning, though, so we should listen.
Since the beginning.
You know, that's a good point, Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this has always been a very positive event, and
Yes.
we hope to see it continue on. It will be interesting to see it. Like, is this at the end of it? And like money, what was the payout last year? 2 years ago is when they didn't announce it until like after the race, right?
Like on the podium. And
yeah,
like,
and it was like 3,000.
8,000 to 3,000. What happened? Yeah.
And last year was it the same?
Furious.
I think so. I don't know if teams made money last year.
BK hates teams, so he says good.
I know, but
I am the team athlete.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's raced on teams with both of us before.
You have more doubles podiums at a championship event than anybody else on this show right now.
Maybe
Thank
on the
you.
planet.
And OCR Worlds. I've done every team style you can do there.
Have you?
4-person man, that 2x2 where 2 people ran at a time. I've done co-ed, I've done it in the United States, in Canada. I'm the team guy. That's what you do when you're not good enough to win individually. Surround yourself with a power squad.
I almost put on our foolishness bracket team races.
Whoa,
Because BK hates them so much.
nah.
Yeah, he does.
You're
thing
putting
would've-
some evil on me that I didn't ask for.
No, that's true.
What team race do I hate?
All the DECA ones.
Yeah, I hate hybrid team racing is dumb.
Yeah, that's foolish to you. I was gonna
Till
put
I
it
do
on
one,
there.
then I'm gonna be all about it.
Yeah,
Bracken, are you doing a DECA this year? Are you finally going to do it?
I have to, right?
I mean,
DECA fit?
You've had to for like 2 years now.
Yeah.
DECA strong. Hello.
DECA strong is true.
We're
You did a
talking
DECA
fit
DECA sim.
or mile, whichever one you think
Debo.
you'd do better.
I don't know. I got to do both.
Okay.
It's the issue of living in the Midwest, right? You get one chance, and it is on this. And excuses, right? But my wife's younger brother was killed in a tragic car accident, and every year the DECA Indiana happens on the anniversary of that, and we have a big family week-long get-together for that. So that's just one of those non-negotiable moments that you don't travel for.
Mm.
And so I'm not ever going to do the Midwest race. And so then it just comes down to fitting it in. It's the downside of hybrid is that Midwest doesn't get a lot of chances.
Yeah.
Of all these niche sporting events, you get like Spartan Race Michigan, DECA Fit Indiana,
Hyrox,
Hyrox
Navy
Chicago,
Pier.
Hyrox Navy
Yeah.
Pier.
Yeah.
Where are we?
Midwest, July 20th. That's the same weekend, July 20th.
July 20th for what?
DECA Fit in Fort Wayne.
Maybe we're looking at different dates here.
Maybe
I'm
we'll have
on their
different
website right
dates.
I
gotta
have
do the
it written
ultra.
down as June 20th.
June 20th is not. There is no June 20th. June 22nd is North Carolina.
Maybe
Fort
we
Wayne was
changed
on
our
that
dates this
was on
year.
that track too. That was like a fast course.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe we changed the weekend that we're getting together this year. Either way, that's the weekend we're booked.
Yeah.
Let's
DECA
do
Fit.
the ultra,
Because Gregory and I were going to do a team.
Oh man.
of course. I would. You're talking Bubbles?
Yeah.
He'll do a
He
team
fills
with anybody.
everyone out.
Basilico.
He'll do a team with anybody. I would say no to
Really?
him. Bubbles. If you're listening, I'm saying no. Don't even ask.
I'm busy.
I'm busy that day,
You're too busy rabbiting.
and we're going head to head. Okay.
But Jack, yes, my intent is to do a Hyrox and a fit in a mile this year. All
Okay.
3 hybrids.
Heck yeah. Get that sub 70 first, and then you'll know you're ready to throw down in the
You
other.
got to get on that high fecta.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
It's good.
That's good. That high fecta. That brought to you by the Debo of DECA Fit.
Yeah.
All right. So where were we? Okay. BK hates team
Teams.
races. Check off.
Fun in general.
Lot of people were saying how much they enjoyed the Fool. A lot of people, at least
A lot of
four-
people, at least four.
Four people talking about the bracket. Now Jack's trying to put every episode into bracket form.
No, I said we need filler topics. So if we do, I've got it set up. Here you go.
Do not shame brackets by calling them filler topic.
This is
Matthew
very
Davis
special.
was a
very
huge
special
fan
occasion.
of that episode, honestly.
He did like that
He
one.
was pumped.
If you showed up for a date and they said, "You're my filler date,"
Ugh,
that's not a compliment.
no.
Let's talk about brackets.
All right. In lesser race or weeks with fewer races, how about that? That's when we talk about it.
I don't think we need to denote anything.
All right. We're just going to talk brackets that day.
Very special episode with brackets.
Yeah.
In other news, speaking of Matt Davis, Obstacle Race Media dropped a post that there is a new governing body called World Obstacle Course Running Federation, WOCRF. I Googled this and it corrected to Worf, who's a character on Star Trek, apparently. Jack, big fan of Star Trek?
Good.
I'd be more excited if that character was going to show up at a Spartan race with Randy Moss than I am for this.
What do you think Worf could do a 40-meter obstacle course in?
I don't care about 40. The 60 and the 80.
80. That's it.
60. My
This
bad.
is where
Not a 40.
history will be made, where
Not a
titans
40.
will clash.
Rich, can you
So-
read out the championship distances?
So this looks like they are based in Switzerland. They are planning on doing distances of 60 meters, 80 meters, differentiator, 400 meters, completely different race, 3K, and then another category more than 3K. So the 60, 80, and 4. How much ground do they cover in American Ninja Warrior? Point to point.
Probably 60,
150?
80 meters.
Yeah, right. Right.
Question. They stated the name of everyone who attended this inaugural meeting.
Yep.
How many names were there?
1, 3.
3. Okay, so they they decided that they would create a new governing body and decide in this first meeting all the race distances for their championships, and they asked the 3 of themselves what they should go with, and they came up with 60 meter, 80 meter, 400 meter, 3K, and then longer than 3K.
And then I don't know, something longer, right?
That was their brain trust. That's what they came up with.
Anybody,
We know 60, 80, 400 for sure. Duh. 3K, obviously, following the footsteps of Watson. And then let's try something longer than 3K TBD.
all
But
in
for
favor,
sure, 60, 80, 400.
all in favor of longer than 3K, say aye.
They all raised their hand.
Unanimous.
All 3 of them unanimously.
Another unanimous
Yeah.
vote here.
Was that the
How
only
do-
unanimous vote? Or
How
were
do you
there
get a
other
seat on
ones?
this
Yeah.
council? Only
want
3
in?
people met their stringent standards.
I'm
These must be the
interested.
3 most recognizable names in OCR. So it would be, I guess you would put down Adrian, one of the Atkins, and let's say for sake of,
Is it Yanti?
No,
Or we
I
could go
think
international.
let's say Claude, a female who's been there from the start, or you could have Deanna or someone like that. It's got to be one of those,
I like it.
or someone
Faye
like
Morgan.
that, right?
Faye Morgan's
Faye
been
Morgan.
around since the beginning. Yeah.
Not international.
Not international, but
Okay. Whatever.
meets
But is
some
it
of the
someone like
criteria.
that? These are names we recognize, right?
Yeah, that's definitely who that is.
Stalwarts in the sport, pillars of our industry.
What do you have to do to become a federation? Can we just do it?
I
Race Brain
declare.
Federation. Yeah.
Can we do this?
Is this a meeting?
Hey,
There
all
are
in
as
favor
many
of this
people
being a
here.
meeting, say aye.
There are 3 of us.
Ooh, I submit that I will be our chancellor.
Chancellor.
All in
right.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, I.
Okay.
Unanimous.
You got it. Okay. All right.
All right. So I'm not exactly sure. This is similar to the OCRWC as the feelings that I get from it. It's kind of like but at least OCRWC will be an event that we will follow. We will see. Jack's gonna race it. I don't know if this is. I guess we'll see if this has money, if this has production, if this is going to be different than anything that we've seen in the past from OCR, or if it's just going to be the same old story of this, and where it's just like hard to watch, not a lot of money to pay out, like lesser than athletes showing up. I don't get it. At this point, it's like, really, do we need more of this? There's going to be more world champions.
Is introducing a new perspective maybe actually going to help things along?
At this point, no. What have we not? What have we?
I'm just asking.
Seen?
It's three people who aren't on our radar.
Well, one of the guys apparently on ORM's post said that Mr. Fodor, Raul, had a previous relationship with FISO and World OCR and was set to head up the European Championships that are taking place in June. So something must have happened there where he's like, I got to start my own thing because I don't like where it's going.
So they're just going to compete with FISO. They think they'll put it on the same date?
If we were to need a board or a governing body, it should be one that people ask for starters, and B, that people are voted upon by the community for at least half the positions.
No, what are you talking about?
So let's say right now we had to do this and decide, what are your standard distances? I think, can we agree that there should be 3 distances?
Yeah, short, mid, long.
Short, mid, long.
Shorter than 80.
What should we choose?
Something shorter than 80, somewhere in between 80 and 1K, and then like between 1K and 2K.
It's either 3K or 5K. It's 15K, and it's probably 6 hour, maybe 8 hour.
So you don't think 100 meter like OCR Worlds?
It's a different sport.
It's a different sport. Okay. Easy Ninja Warrior does not need to be. They have 3 Easy Ninja Warrior races in this.
So distance, duration is the.
It seems to be sport specific.
Yeah.
Once you get past 50K, they're hours. And I like that. I think that pays homage to World's Toughest, to all the 24-hour races we've had, to Tough Mudder. I mean, Tough Mudder is a pillar of the sport. We have to respect that. So yeah, I would do short distance, something that's truly anaerobic, something that splits the distance, which to me is 15K, and then something that's time-based, lap-based long. And if you wanted to talk me into 100 because we have a lot of people in this industry who love it, sure. But I don't have any need for that.
Yeah, agreed.
Does it move the needle at the World Championships? Have they even bothered telling people if they made the final or not and what time it starts? No, because the 100 meter doesn't matter to the sport.
Right.
Slightly longer, much easier Ninja Warrior doesn't do a lot unless you like that thing yourself.
Unless you're a participant. Right. And it seems like, it's an easier thing to watch, but still not as good as watching Ninja Warrior. Like, it's just a lesser than product for like athletes who don't really like move the needle in terms of participation. I'll never get it. I'll never get it. And I never watch it.
Notice the meeting minutes of our conversation right now had no argument about, is 100 inherently better or worse than 60 or 80 or 40? And should we include multiple versions of that?
One is just one's one long monkey bar. And the other one is
it's an 80 meter monkey bar.
That's when I'll get behind it. When you don't get to touch the ground between start and finish. At that point, make whatever distances you want, but it all must be feet not touching the ground.
5K, no touch in the ground. Yeah.
You know what this 400 is going to be? Pipe layer. 400 pipe layer.
Pipe layer. Yeah.
We're getting the 400 pipe layer that we've been asking for on RaceBrain.
Have you seen over a year? For a while, yeah. Have you seen some of those 400 meter courses in the UAE? They actually have them on a track, and they're like 8 to 10 obstacles. Like Sergey's been posting stuff. I think Halvar did recently. Yeah, they're actually pretty decent. Like,
they're sweet.
Yeah,
different sport, but they're sweet.
Yeah,
there was an ultra event in Canada that was on a track, 400 meter track, that was just like loops. I think it was Team Platinum Rig, maybe, I think, put it on.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying pure running. I'm like, that sounds horrible.
No, with obstacles and stuff.
That Desert Solstice.
That's just madness.
Yeah,
people are crazy.
Anyway, but was it a 24-hour rig thing? The Platinum Rig.
Yeah, and it was like on a track, and you can kind of tag in and out. And I mean, like that's whatever. It seemed kind of cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, 400. I don't know.
The only way to stop these federations from trying to do cash grabs and take over and influence from places that they shouldn't is for everyone to all start their own federations and just drown them in a sea of federations.
That maybe that's what they're doing here. Maybe like, hey, we're taking FISO down. We're just gonna make, and they're gonna split off and do 3 or 4 more different federations. Maybe they're onto
You
that.
could make one that's like RISO, and I'll do FISO. Like we'll do every iteration of it, pronunciation or spelling close to it, and eventually no one's going to get their traffic all to the same site, and we can start over. I have a million ideas.
Exactly. Like this
Miso.
is also that's
Great.
a great one.
Miso,
At least 26 ideas. Just throw a different letter in front of them. I mean, yeah, because along with this comes marketing. Like this needs to be just like this needs to be seen. It needs to be like attractive and like I don't know. Maybe these people are marketing wizards and they have. I don't have much else to say.
They can market all they want. There is not going to be a global surge in interest in the 60 and 80 meter obstacle course racing market. There's just not.
Right.
Why would you have that if you weren't trying to get the attention of the Olympic Committee and Modern Pent? Because Pent is debating whether they're going to do 60 meter, 80 meter, 100 meter for the Olympics. That's the only reason you would ever have this. And so now you are just FISO, right? You are just a competitor to that, and you're trying to get. That's not obstacle course racing. You don't represent us.
Right. That's interesting. So this will be like the race that could potentially be in. These are all going to be pentathletes in this. In the 60 and 80.
If there's anything history has shown is that if you take an athlete and have them do a different sport, it's going to be awesome to watch.
Randy Moss.
That's what we try. That's half the stuff we talk about here. Just goofy games.
So if we get behind this, we're essentially saying, I want someone worse than us to do our sport for us.
Hey,
yes,
let's do it. 3-on-3 basketball.
Yeah. I feel like this is the same debate we've had on this topic since the beginning.
Let's move along. So maybe we'll talk about this. Maybe we'll talk about it again, or maybe we won't. Maybe we won't hear about this ever again. But we might hear about this again.
Yeah.
Are the Swiss a hotbed for OCR?
I think that's where like the Olympic Committee is held.
Olympic Committee for what?
Like the IOC.
Oh. Like you said that OCR Olympic Committee.
No. Their headquarters, Lausanne, Switzerland. So that makes sense.
All right. You guys want to talk about Hyrox?
Let's do it.
We've been talking about this race for a couple weeks now, and now it's here. So this is the first ever last chance qualifier for the Hyrox season. There will be a different number of athletes who can qualify for the World Championship out of these races, men's and women's. There's 1 spot for men. There are 3 spots for women. These races are happening on 2 different days, I believe. This is a big event in Germany, in Cologne. It's called FIBO, which I think is kind of like an Arnold Classic type of expo, like a huge fitness expo over there. So it's going to be
not FISO, FIBO.
FIBO. That's another one. Yeah. That's another organization that will start a 70 meter?
Sure, 75.
I feel like the 70 yard is underrepresented.
Yeah.
We need yard.
Absolutely. I've never heard of it even.
The 77 yard.
Yeah.
5,000 yard run. Brought to you by CrossFit. So we have a number of athletes who are going to be racing here. The men, I believe, are on Saturday at around noon Central European time, and women are Sunday around 10:30, I believe, approximately. It does not sound like there's going to be a way to watch this officially. There might be some cameras on the ground unofficially, just doing like the old school kind of Graham thing. For the most part, I'm fine with this.
You said would not come back.
Well, it's not by it's not going to be on Hyrox's page.
It'll be
gotcha. If
third party.
Hybrid. If Matt gets somebody over there, it'll be on like Hybrid Fitness Media, something or other.
Gotcha.
I'm not saying that it is. This is just kind of like things that are circulating. People are going to try to get some sort of cameras out there, probably on Instagram Live or Instagram Stories or whatever. But
Calderos is probably going to be out there.
Seems like Rock's Life territory, right?
So yeah, I think he might try to do something. Yeah. Especially with the time, like it doesn't seem like a favorable time for us here in the States, as these races will be when I'm snoozing. But so I don't. What do you guys think about them not broadcasting this?
Missed opportunity, in my opinion. You've got a ton of momentum at this point, and there's so much on the line. Like every single other race, if it's a major, has a championship spot, or up to 5 available. And this also is one of the rare races throughout the season where they're offering a championship spot. And since it's basically 12, 15 people competing for a single one, it's even more on the line as the season's just about to culminate. I think that they should have done it.
Yeah, missed opportunity was the exact phrase that popped into my mind. And you're missing out on the opportunity to start storylines, which is really key. And also, these are test runs for World Championship. They've been implementing so many new pieces to their broadcast, and they're just moving in the right direction. But each time they do it, something goes wrong, and then they figure it out for next time. And if I were facing this moment, this opportunity where my company is blowing up in popularity, it's selling out like crazy, we will have the most eyes on this World Championship that we've ever had. I would want 2 more chances to get the bugs out so that I can put out the most professional, stat-ridden, graphics-ridden, seamless in and out, nobody forgetting to hit power switches, like everything all firing on all cylinders. And I think that 2 more dry runs allow you to do that. I understand that there's probably budget issues, but just from the outside, with no restraints, I would say it's a missed chance.
Yeah, I mean, budget for sure. You would imagine because they are implementing positive change each time that their budget is probably also going up with each opportunity. Yes, exactly. And the main thing with this is that this is not going to be on a grid. These are like stuck in the races. Yeah. There's going to be, I believe they're going to do the pro men's doubles. And then once that kind of finishes, they're going to let off the pro men. And same with the women.
That's a miss too.
Yep.
Because you're qualifying in the only way you can get to Worlds that's not grid. So it feels incongruous from that standpoint. And I don't think it's I mean, again, everything is added cost and time and effort to do these things, but they could right now decide to switch to grid.
And they could do it like Saturday morning, like early before anything starts, push everything back a little bit, whatever.
It'd be a hassle.
It'd be a hassle for sure. And again, that's manpower, that's money. Like I'm sure there is just no money that they've allocated to this, where they would see any type of meaningful return, especially with the names. I mean, this is, their brand wants to grow as a sport, but they also like value star power, like the way that they have done these races. And with the last chance qualifier, it's like, it's the leftovers. Offense meant.
But they've got former world champions in this field. I know. Wouldn't they want to be like, hey, will this person earn their spot back? Like, are they going to have a chance of defending their title, even if they're realistically not a favorite to do so?
There's definitely stories.
Storyline.
There's definitely stories.
And we have the plyo rule, which means in the Dylan Scott rule that shows if you give these people a chance, there's a chance they podium at Worlds.
That's only for U.S. athletes.
That is also true,
as we've seen. Yeah,
as might have expats over there.
No.
Or European athletes living in the US. Yeah.
Or sleeper agents. You don't know.
Yeah. And the other thing that I'm not a fan of, Rich, if it's the format that you said where it's pro doubles and then men's solo afterwards, I'm assuming they're gonna still have to be weaving in and out of people on the course.
I'm guessing there'll be some. I'm hoping they'll give like a full hour just so people are almost done.
Yeah, but then you come across the women starting later, and just like in OCR, they're just going to get stuck behind a bunch of people who are slower in front of them unless they designate like, all right, no one's going off for 30 minutes. But even then, you're having the open people ahead of them likely a little bit slower. You don't have this grid layout, so they might not be competing for machines necessarily, but suddenly now you might have to run in lane 3 on the on the running loop instead of lane 1 like you would in a only these 15 people are on the course right now. So it changes the qualification.
Everybody's in the same boat.
I know, but yeah,
if it's not advertised and it's not grid, I don't care if the runs get slowed because it doesn't matter.
But as long as everybody on this day has the same qualification, so I guess it's the same as like in Spartaner. It's like, oh, you qualified for Worlds on a flat course versus an altitude mountain course. It's like you still made it to Worlds. Everyone had to race the same that day. Right?
And if they're not broadcasting it, I mean, that's another reason to have a clear course. But if they're not doing that,
we've yet to see a race won or lost due to congestion. And that doesn't mean it won't ever happen.
It could
And
happen.
if it's going to happen,
it'll
be this race.
Right.
This is the one with the most parity, but
someone gets tripped up or something, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So you want to look at some of these names, see how this is all going to play out?
We're not just going to look at it. We're going to describe every single action in this race.
We're going to go top to bottom. Since you can't view it, we're going to tell you what's going to happen anyway. And it's going to be how I bet we'll be like 95% accurate.
I guarantee first station guarantee you're going to be 100% accurate on the men's side, at least.
You think so? I think we have a decent idea of what could happen there.
Oh, I've got a good idea.
So I guess we could talk about that as well. Like again, on the men's side, it's winner take all. So it kind of makes the strategy a bit more simple, where if there was 3 or 4 spots, it's like, okay, you can kind of sit around, don't die, run your race, be around the pack, and execute what you can execute. For the men here, you kind of have to be in it, right?
At least after sled pull. Like, if you get gap, then you're not coming back.
There's only one person that gets to hang around, and that's the person that knows they can go unbroken on wall balls. Every single other athlete here knows that they have to have a lead coming into wall balls to have any chance of winning. That changes things. Huge to have only one slot.
Do you have that list able to pull up, Rich?
Let's pull her up.
Yeah,
I did.
This is the who we have a good ideas going list.
This would be Rich Ryan's nightmare.
Yes, I'm very happy I'm not in this race. But, there's no one on here I haven't beat. So, except
can we make this any bigger?
Oh my freaking goodness!
I just love watching your magnification.
How's that?
Oh, he's doing the Rich with the control plus right there.
Yeah.
Oh man, that
Shut
was
your
worth
mouth.
it.
How about it?
Shortcuts.
HBD. Shortcuts.
How about that?
All right. So some of the notable names here that we can run through if we were to seed this. I guess it would be time based, but Lucas Storath, former world champion, the first ever world champion who finished 6th, I think, in both Vienna and DC, led a lot of DC. Tobias Lautvin, who was Tobias Lautvin.
Tobias, yeah.
Tobias. And Jack was waiting. He's like, I can't wait for Rich to stop talking.
I was letting you do it.
Him.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
Yeah.
Tobias Lautvin.
Fine.
The 2021 world champion, defeating Hunter McIntyre, one of the only world championship Hunter did not win or even podium, I believe.
4th, yeah.
He'll be in it. He was 3rd place last year. Then we're looking at Jonathan Wynn, who was 6th place the previous year. We have James Kelly, who I believe finished 8th at Worlds last year. Then where's our guy, Geoffrey Voisin, who has been in the Elite 15 the past 2 years in the World Championships. Peter Schiller was at the Elite 15 last year. And I believe those are the athletes who have been in the Elite 15 race in the past at World Championships. And these are just names that we have. We don't have all the names. All the names are not on the website yet. So there could be athletes who we don't know who are going to show up to this. We have about 13 names that we can say that we can have like pretty decent. We have decent intel that will be there who have signed up. But this is not from the actual site, and that will probably be posted tomorrow. So again, if there are names that pop up here that we do not say, it's because we've not really been able to see. Other names, Eugenio Bianchi, who has like a 58 high, I think. Florian Gast, he was in the World Championships last year as well. Harry Thompson is one of the better athletes in the UK. Him and Afan Humphreys were in DC.
Copenhagen. Oh yeah, you're right.
There's just a lot of dudes here, man. A lot of dudes for one spot. This is loaded up.
Who could potentially show up?
Who could show up?
Like maybe a Wisconsin boy?
I have not heard.
I guess Gabe probably that next biggest name or time not to be considering this.
I would say so.
Who isn't locked in? Yeah.
I don't believe Chris Woolley is coming to something like this. He would be somebody, but again, these are people from APAC, which is a haul.
Who's the guy from the UK Sadiq. He's ran pretty fast before.
I forget Sadiq's last name, but yeah, he's run right around 59.
Of Tory or something. Yeah.
The dudes who ran in that fast race, Sebastian Iferson and the dude who ran 58 something that race, whose name I'm forgetting as well.
Start with an O, I thought.
Ollie Ficker.
Yeah. Yep. Ollie. And then Eric Woodward was another guy who's had some decent times. He'd won a race before from Norway.
You would think these guys would be here.
I would think Ollie would.
Yeah. After 57 something. Yeah.
And maybe it's something that we just haven't been able to. Maybe these people that we're getting went through directly from Hyrox and maybe got a comped entry or something like that. Being top 30 times or something. That might be what we're looking at, or the people who have been in the top 30 or who have qualified for a major in the past. But there are other athletes who have not been at majors who I'm sure we will see.
Yeah. One question that I've got on this, and I think that you already answered this earlier or a different episode. If you already qualified for Worlds, you are not allowed to compete at this one.
I believe they'll stick you in a second or third heat.
Okay, because I was gonna say, like, what if you just truly just wanted the practice? You're like, hey, this is my last race. I'm 2 months out from Worlds, but I don't really want to do one 3 weeks out because that might beat me up a little too much or interrupt my training block. But I still want to do it. You're still able to show up, you think?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Some other names like Ruben Patino, Alphonse De Ruiz. He could be someone that shows up. Tom Hogan. We haven't really seen in the individual side of things. I don't know if this is in his plans really to be here. But yeah, I'm trying to just brainstorm who else could be. It could be someone like BK, what's your boy who does all the sports one time?
Sebastian.
Seb
Conrad Hawkinson.
Conrad.
Yeah.
We could even have an ex-CrossFitter. Current CrossFitter.
Little Ricky? The Ricky in there?
Yeah, why not? Why can't we have Mr. Gerard?
Because he's ready. He's getting ready to get podium at the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
He is. I don't think he's.
I doubt he's gonna do it. He's probably gonna stay in Australia for it. But like, didn't Chris Woolley run 59.20 something earlier this year?
Yeah, I mentioned him before. I don't think he's planning on coming.
I don't think so either, because they've got an event in Australia later. But I don't know. It's a big trip.
Yeah, there's just a handful of guys who've been between 58 and 60. There could be another 12 guys who are in this mix. So boys, the first run, what do we think is going to happen here?
Lucas will sit back.
Yeah.
Lucas will be in the mix.
Lucas and Eugenio are going to be up at the front.
Eugenio as well. I think that
Lucas will be the wave light set to world record pace.
Yeah.
Of these athletes, I would imagine it's going to be Lucas. Eugenio, that's a great call. And JK has been pretty aggressive.
He'll put himself in any race.
He's going to put himself in.
He doesn't get gapped.
No. So I believe he'll be there. And then I think the next contingent of athletes would be, we have now mentioned Jake Williamson. He'll be right up in there. And John Wynn will be the ones kind of sitting in. I mean, going in, I guess coming out of ski is where it really matters, because it could be all 30 dudes could roll into the ski together.
In order. Yeah.
In order. And the interesting one is what's Toby going to do?
13th place coming in there. Take his time, make his moves.
Coming out in like 20th.
Yeah.
Do we have any intel on his health and his fitness?
Not really.
No one knows what's going on with this man.
But this is in Germany.
It's in Germany.
He's done better in Germany in the past.
If I were Tobias, I would be like, okay, I don't need to really be in shape until this race, right? So if he has the ability to be at the high end, like we've seen him in the past, we're going to see it this weekend. And if we don't, like, it just might not be in the cards for him anymore.
Or just like not this year.
Yeah, right. Like just life factors or whatever. Like something just things are not working for him if he does not show out for this one.
But if you set this whole field to roughly the same level of fitness, he wins. Yes. We just don't know where he's at right now. And that's fascinating to me to have him here, because without him, it's like, all right, Lucas should win this, right? He's shown the best ability to go out and lead. And so he has a good chance to win. But JK has put himself in every race and not quite had it go together, but he's been doing it against the best in the world. And that type of experience sets you up to suddenly feel good coming out of like pushing second suddenly and feeling like I'm rolling. Like those are the two people you'd look at least from my end. But Tobias could just mop the floor with these people, or he could just be a non-factor. And that's what I love about this race.
But he won't until after the row. We won't know.
We won't
Yeah.
know.
He will be almost a non-factor in what's happening between Lucas, JK, Win. I'm going to put Harry Thompson in this as well. I think Harry went out a little bit too hard in DC. He had the fastest sled push and then kind of started going backwards. But he knows how to win races as well. Whoa.
Whoa, happy birthday. What the heck happened?
HBD.
What'd you do?
To me, there's only two ways to come into a last chance qualifier: fresh off a PR or fresh off getting out super hot and blowing up. And so I like Harry's setup coming into this.
So we figured coming in the sled push, it'll be Lucas, and then in some order, JK,
Harry,
Eugenio. Harry might be back a little bit. He's not I wouldn't say he's a great runner, but he's good on stations.
Yeah.
Maybe Jake Williamson would be up there, who is a bit of a better runner. I would say Lucas,
For sure.
then JK, then
Eugenio.
Eugenio,
right with him.
Yeah.
then Win, Florian Gast, and then Harry. Anyone else that you think would be in that top 6?
I'm going to put Toby at 6/7.
7.
I think he was going to insert himself right into the tail end of that train.
I'm taking the under.
Yeah, he's going to be double digits or worse.
How do you get worse than
skier.
double digits?
Triple.
10th or worse. Minimum double digit. Yeah.
It's coming in there 110.
place. Yeah.
3K or longer.
Yeah, exactly.
I
He'll be
agree.
in the double digits.
I agree, because I mean, this is long enough to have a lot of people that are going to be just not in contention, who should not be in contention even after the sled push. I mean, people are going to blow up, but a blow up is going to be the difference between like a 210 and if you do like a 240 on the sled push, like 240, you're probably going to be out of it, especially if you're coming in overextended. So I think Tobias will come in triple digits, but will come into the sled pull in 7th.
Yeah. And let's not forget in Vienna, Tobias went 58.30 and Bo Wills was 58.28. So he was a couple seconds behind him. Is Bo going to be here, or does he already have a spot because of Sweden, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, so he ended up catching and beating Lucas Storath, James Kelly, some of the guys that we're talking about who are going to start faster, and it's shown to work typically for him to start out a little bit slower and then hang on. But will that get him second place instead of first is what you need.
That's a great call. I'm actually going to pull this up. That was it. You're talking about Vienna?
Vienna. Yep.
Let's see where he came in to the sled push in Vienna. Because that will be sled push in.
And Graham Halliday, 58.16. So he lost 14 seconds to him, and Graham's gone unbroken on 100 wall balls, right? So it's like Toby gets himself in the right spot pretty much all the time.
Yeah, and I guess he wasn't. Oh wait, I'm in the wrong thing. Yeah, he will put himself there, but he's going to be back.
It's catch up the whole game.
Yeah, totally. I mean, he was all right. He was like he was only 6 seconds back of Lucas going into push.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was 11 seconds back of
place.
Lucas then. Coming in 11th.
He came in 11th. So yeah.
Came in 11th at
double digits or worse, just like I said.
Or worse.
Well, that was at an Elite 15.
I mean, this is basically an Elite 15.
People are going to be racing like maniacs at this.
Yeah.
People are going to be going crazy. People are just going to be like, you know what? This is the time where I'm just going to go as hard as I can from the start, and it's going to work. And you know what's not going to happen? It's not going to work. Yeah, it ain't going to work.
The person who's going to do the best is the one who's sitting in like 4th through 6th for the first third of the race. That moves up. A few people are going to blow up, and then you've just, the second half of the race is your strength, that's how you're going to do well. But if this is not going to be a wire-to-wire victory.
I think it will be.
I mean,
wow.
Luke is BK's boy. I don't know why, but he just
from the start.
Luke is him.
Just salivating. He's like,
one of the interesting unforeseen consequences of the equipment changes and the sled push in particular becoming quicker is suddenly skier might just be the single most important station of the entire race. Like you have to be able to crank on that thing and not tip, because if you go hard on that and then you just get done with the sled push really fast, sometimes you're done. And in the past, you could make up for bad skis or you could recover from an over ski. And you can't in this race anymore. And I never really anticipated the skier becoming so pivotal in the execution of a race.
I'm not sure if they're going to have the new equipment here. I don't know if they had it in Europe yet.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, that would change things.
Lucas wins by more.
The rest of the qualifying is not the same as the rest of the year. So, I mean, no grid, no new equipment. Makes sense.
All right.
It's a founder's race.
We are now, okay, so say, so let's whittle it down. Who's going to be in the race at sled pull? Talked about Tobias. He's in.
Everyone.
He's in.
Yeah, I don't think
Everyone?
anyone's going to be at pull.
At pull. No way.
Based off what we've seen, Afon might start to struggle.
I think a lot of these
he gets out with the big dogs.
Like Schiller probably. Peter's just gonna have a hard time with the run. Joffrey will be in it. If Joffrey's in it, he's in it after the pull. He's not in it before the pull. But I think JK's there.
If it's a bad
Harry's
sled
there,
for most
Wynn's
people,
there.
Joffrey can make up a lot of ground there. But he'll be playing catch up also because of his running.
I think we're looking at 7.
The top 7 right there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Eugenio will be there.
9. Who else?
Yeah, Eugenio for sure.
Yeah. He's not going to get gapped.
Sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Not for sure.
I think so.
He might blow himself up. I think he might be blown up by this point.
I don't think until
too early.
Burpee
broad jumps is when, Bracken and I are thinking alike.
But Rich is a champion and a world record holder. So who are we?
We're just dumb commentators.
Correct. Taking them off. No. Then who's the 7th then, BK?
Who's the 9th?
9?
9th, I'm sorry.
Give me
the field.
Yeah, give me Joffrey.
All right. He's dangerous. He'll have a good push. And if he can be around his running he's been hurt. Right? So he hasn't been able to put in a ton of work, but if he's been healthy since the previous couple of majors, he could definitely be in there. And if he's but like I said, I think he'll be in it after the poll.
Yeah. You're more right than I am. I know that, but I still think we're going to see 9 coming into that, and I'm sticking with that.
Okay. So Tobias has made moves here. JK can pull for sure. Wynn can pull big time. The question marks for me here are Jake Williamson, Harry, Florian, Eugenio, and I think those 3. I think this would be potentially where those 3 separate.
That's pretty much how I think it's going to go also for the sled pull.
Eugenio's out. Are we?
Depends which equipment we get.
It's true. I mean, Harry's a big dude. I was surprised by how big he was, but it's just gonna be
frame on him.
Yeah, for sure. It's just gonna be a matter of how much juice he has. If he manages it, if he comes into sled push in 7th, I think that will be better for him than if he comes in 4th. If that makes sense.
For that type of athletes, it's when do I start?
Yeah.
If he starts on the push, you're in trouble.
He cooked himself last time.
Yeah. It was a great push. Best push we've seen.
Mm-hmm. We thinking Jake Williamson's going to be in at this point? He's new. He's gaining a lot of momentum. Don't know him well enough for sure.
Yeah.
But he's competitive. I don't know.
I mean, he got 12th in his only major appearance this year.
Came across the ocean.
I know.
First one's a freebie.
Yeah, I agree.
but we haven't seen it against big competition, which I think is fair.
I had just one ask. It's that someone streams this. Please, Lord, someone stream this.
Yeah.
Are we keeping Jake in it after the poll? How about Florian?
No one's in it after the poll.
It's a one horse race.
Lucas is just
Lucas is
taking off.
running away with it with JK, and we're waiting on Toby.
Okay, those are gonna be the top three. If we just fast forward a little bit, I 100% agree. Those three would have been my picks.
I don't think you can't rule out win here.
No, I can't say 100% about anything other than Lucas leading out.
Other than Lucas is going to win hands down.
So if we're looking at the majors only this year, and I know that they haven't been the exact same because Hunter may or may not be there sometimes, but Jonathan Wynn, Jeffrey Bostine, Jake Williamson, Eugenio, Harry Thompson are all within 1% of each other during all these races, and they're about 2% behind James Kelly, Lucas Storath, and Tobias. So, and those guys have run multiple races for the most part. I think James Kelly's been at all four of them, and Lucas at a couple of them. Toby at only one of them, but they're finishing like 93, 94% a winner. And those other guys I mentioned earlier are 90, 91. So I think there is a true separation based on what we've seen this year.
You're giving us some bullshit ass percent of winner stuff right now.
Giving real
My
numbers.
eyes just glazed over.
Oh my
It
god!
Do
matters.
you have a summation, Rich?
Yeah, they're two.
I'm gonna make sure to make a note.
The three
of
guys
this.
you picked, Bracken, are about 2% faster this year.
Yeah, I would
making
agree with
a-
those stats.
Yeah.
I'm making a note for our chapters of the time where Jack says numbers.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I'll hold off the
people
rest
know,
of it.
People, people know they can jump right to that
People
part.
always asking me. Yeah.
A lot of people asking me.
A lot
All
of
right,
people.
all right, so you guys don't like Jake being in there, and this is after
Don't
poll.
put that on me.
That's what you guys said. I'm leaving Win in this. Florian, I don't know what to do. He had a pretty decent race at Worlds last year where he wasn't out of it. I think he was in the mix for a lot of it. So I'm leaving Florian in here too. Going into, and we'll just say we'll give Joffrey, pulls it in like
A minute
2:45,
Yeah.
crushes it. So then we'll have down to, and we're down to 6. I think we're down to 6 going into burpee broad jumps.
This is where Lucas stuff's going to catch up to him a little bit.
This is where, and I think this is it for, we won't see Joffrey after
Eugenio.
this.
Yeah.
This is where Eugenio reestablishes himself. This is where OCR fitness comes back into play. People are going to be cracking on burpee broad jumps in this race.
For sure.
I
For sure.
this
Cracking it.
We've
He
all
will
talked
not.
about. We've talked about how Hyrox is basically a race to the rower so that you can start your recovery. I can't think of a race where that's more true than this particular one, where there's one spot on the line and everyone's going to go out like a bat out of hell and just hope that they have something once after the rower.
Everyone on the rower, their eyebrows are going to be up and their mouth's going to be like,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, should I quit? Should I stop? It's like, I'm thinking about
is
stopping.
it halfway?
I think I don't want to do this anymore. But BK, in a championship race like this, do you even think it'd be possible for someone like, I don't know, these athletes who we've kind of said won't be in the top 5 or 6 going into a station to make a comeback? Like, to come out of a sled pull in like 8th when there's one spot on the line, your time doesn't matter, to keep it together to the point where they will come back.
You have to be so special mentally. I really don't think there's many people on earth who can do that in a big race.
I agree.
One of the only people who've shown it is Toby. And so,
Yeah.
But is he like cracked? He usually has it together.
Youth and current momentum really plays well in these style of races. But the only thing that can withstand an early beatdown is someone who's been beat down several times before and come back and won. Like he's the only one I think in this field that can be out of it and then in it. Everyone else has to be intact. They have to be in contact. He's the only outlier
At this point for sure.
At this point.
And Rich, there's a big difference between coming out in 8th place 20 seconds behind versus a minute 20 seconds behind. So if it's a manageable gap and you get out, you can still see people leaving the transition zone or at least like one corner ahead of you. You still have a chance. We've seen it so many times in OCR where like Albin or Atkins or Lindsay, they'll just wait, let a few people go out, and then they're never too far behind, like minute wise, but they can reel them back. And typically in OCR or in hybrid, we're seeing Lauren or Hunter just take off like crazy, and that's the race. But I don't know. I think if it's like a 20-25 second gap, that's totally overcomable in the second half of the race.
Sure. Like, yeah, a minute is not on purpose.
Yeah.
Like if you're down a minute coming into
yeah.
Burpee broad jumps, you're like, got him where I want him.
Nope.
All right. So we're losing after Burpee broad jumps. JK has had a hard time with Burpee broad jumps. This is not a station where he moves forward. I think he'll be in a position. I think he'll come in with everybody, so I don't think he'll be gone, but I don't think he'll be in the lead pack. But I think he'll be in. I think he could still be in top 3.
What are his splits comparatively?
You want to give me percent? You want to do? Want me to
No.
percent of winner?
I'm leaving numbers out of here. The only numbers I care about is that he got 6th in Chicago and 9th in Vienna and 7th in DC.
Let's look at
percent of winner.
All right, we'll pull up. Let's do the most recent one. I think it'll just be like the most fair representation of his fitness currently. We don't know, but that would be. We'll just pull up the broad jumps here. And he was 7th in 310 on the grid. Lucas was 308. So he wasn't like kicking butt either. Florian was also 310.
But three low is kind of like the new norm
for grid.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
grid.
Dylan was fastest, 3 flat. Your boy was 301. But I mean,
we've
like
seen
9 seconds at this point of the race is like something.
It is. But what you've proven and what we've seen is that how well you do on a station in Hyrox is more indicative of how you pace the previous stations than at what your talent level is on that station sometimes.
Yes.
And because of his ability to go out and insert himself into a race, he will just oftentimes get to a station and sometimes appear like it could be a weakness. But if he's out at all slower than that, that ability to come into burpee broad jumps a few seconds behind someone and gobble them up and get momentum, suddenly you realize, oh, I'm really good at this station. I've just been dead here every time. So,
but do we anticipate that happening in a race like this? If he comes in top 3, I don't think he's going to be like, I've been saving for this station.
I don't think we'll have him saving as much, but without the top end front runners, even though people can hammer each station, they won't be able to hammer the station and the run the way that a Dylan or a Kent or any like a Pelayo will do. And so it'll be an aggressive start, but it won't be as fast in between the push and the pull as what he's used to trying to hang on to that train. So he might just come in the same position and like 3 beats lower or something like that.
Maybe.
You can't fake the run out of the push. You know that. Like we've all felt that. And there are people in here who can fake the push, but are not going to be able to run out of it like Dylan or Pelayo.
Looking at Estacom, John Wynn was 317. JK was 324. Again, he was like 8th.
Yeah, it's definitely not a strength.
Florian was
laying
11th.
out. Yeah.
I think we lose Florian here.
You can't be a slow mover through this.
No.
Right. You can be like, it's going to be I don't think anyone's going to come in here and smash. Like this will be non-grid. So that's like about a minute just based off of like the rock zone and just the back and forth. You know, you'll see people do closer to 2 flat than 3 flat on non-grid. But I think there's going to be people like 215, 220 and other people at like 315, 320.
Yeah. And if we were seeing 20-second gaps being formed on like the rower or the skier, it would be like, holy crap. And this is a very demanding station for the rest of the race also. So yeah, would you make a move here? And then try to hang on and recover on the rower? Or are you like, I'm still saving my time because I think people are going to go a little bit too hard on this?
I personally would.
You just go for it?
Yeah. And if you can get ahead, it's at a point of the race where it's going to be hard to come back. Like if people fall back on burpees, it's not Is you like it's because they have to.
Yeah.
In the big boy rowers, anyone who's looking at it like I need to crank this rower, they're usually not the big boy burpees. Like that doesn't align. And so if you can gap them there, dang their gas tank, take their row away from them, I think that's key. But we're also talking like people are going to have a ton of decisions at this point. Like I think the ship is already sailing out of harbor as they approach the burpee broad jumps in this kind of race.
Excellent point. That's why people going backwards, right? It's like it's either going to just click for someone like Win or JK, and they're just going to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
But if we lose them here, they're out.
Yeah.
We keeping them in it.
You don't come back from a bad burpee against quality fields.
But they have to be in it because they could, like, Lucas and like Tobias, even though like Tobias can finish really well, he's not he does it on the runs, right? That's where he seems to really make up a lot of ground. He's not scary in these back stations.
He's not going to drop. He's still in contention at this point.
He's in contention. I'm leaving him in it.
Yeah. I think all four of these
Let's
guys
leave it
are
all
on
four
it
just for the sake of our conversation.
Farmers carry is where you might see a little bit of a gap.
Yeah, so going into row,
no one's making a move there.
Everybody sits there. They're rowing 146 to 149. They come out 3 to 5 seconds apart from each other.
Yeah.
Farmers probably the same. I mean, that's really where the fatigue in this event can really show up.
Now, Lucas, we've seen him struggle on farmers carries.
He dropped it 3 times in DC.
I'm nervous for him on this part.
He dropped it 3 times in the last 2 lengths.
Yeah. So
either to be fair, I dropped it 6 times in my sim the other weekend.
It's hard. Just shake out your hands.
Yeah, but this is not grid either. So
non-grid should be faster.
You have your momentum going around the corner a little bit.
Yep.
But I could see this being the either during or it breaks him because he's trying so hard not to drop it that's going to affect his run after. I could see this being the Lucas station.
I think that Lucas like either Lucas's fitness has improved to the point where he could sure up those like last 3 stations. They fell apart really bad in DC, and maybe just coming along needs to feel it and can hang on, or he manages his effort better, which we're not thinking is going to happen.
With 1 spot on the line, you've got to race aggressively, and he does that naturally anyway.
So either I think he comes in first, and Tobias is hunting him, closes the gap by 3 seconds, 2 seconds on farmers, and then is just like tracking him coming into lunges. JK and John are right there as well, like another 3 to 5 seconds back.
Yeah.
Farmers carries a sneaky destroyer of wall balls that if you blow your hands out here, having to have them up above your shoulder during lunges means they're not going to fully come back the way you'd want them to. And you just run into a little bit of arm fatigue on the wall balls. Like the thing that you don't normally feel could all be stemming from this farmer's carry having to drop it. And we saw him struggle on wall balls at the end. It's just the throwaway station of the race.
I know.
But in these highest level races, like you said, Rich, this is where it comes due. This is where the cracks will really appear.
I have a hard time in lunges. I'm like, hands, my arms.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't want them feeling like this when I'm about to do 100 wall balls.
I don't like it. I just don't like it on the lunges. I don't even think about it for the wall balls. I'm like, I'm uncomfortable. I don't
Try
know.
one shoulder.
That's the move. How I like to do it is, skip the lunge, just the walking. Way faster.
Shuffle a bunch.
Yeah.
Lots of walking during the walking lunges. I think they're all around. I think it's 10 to 12 seconds.
I don't think we're going to have of a gap
Who's out?
between their split on it. I don't think you're going to have 4 people heading into the run before the lunges. I think you're down to 3.
Who's out?
Win.
Yeah.
Win?
Win.
All right.
Not by
Good effort.
much,
It
but
was a good effort.
I think Lucas has been free and clear for 7 minutes by this point.
He's up by 7 minutes?
No. For the last 7 minutes, he's been out running alone.
Oh, Toby's in 112th, and
yeah,
Lucas is up by 7 minutes.
Kelly has left the rest of them and is charging with Toby charging towards Lucas.
I don't think JK is going to hang on to Toby. If Toby's running the way Toby can run,
yeah,
JK's not going with him.
So if you look at Vienna,
confidence.
James Kelly got outleaned at the line by Lucas, and then Lucas ended up beating JK by 22 seconds in Washington DC. So he does have his number at the moment in the two most recent ones. I think that James will probably be the one who gets dropped here.
He's not like gone.
No,
maybe. He was probably up pretty big on him. Let's look at it.
I'm saying it's not over.
I think if we're going to narrow it down to two, it's going to be Lucas probably leaving lunges first with Toby right behind him.
I think that is fair. Let's see wall balls in.
Say
Lucas
James
came
and
in.
Lucas leave lunges together. How about that?
They know they're basically equals in terms of results so far this year, so they're going to be really close to each other. But
I mean, Luke was up going into wall balls. This is after Luke was fading. He was about 28 seconds ahead coming into wall balls. 28 seconds ahead of him coming into lunges.
And he won by 22. So James put 6 seconds on him.
That's not really good. Yeah, that was a tough. And Lucas was up 43 going into lunges.
So James closes.
Well, Lucas died.
Relative. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's more that.
Yeah.
Quickest way to close is have the person in front of you stop moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you're a real closer then. But
I've got you.
I think Toby takes it on the run after lunges.
Yep.
And then these three, they're like none of them. JK, I think, is probably the best, but he's not like, he has not shown to be like a Graham Holiday, right? Or even like a Joffrey Voisin has gone unbroken. I think if Toby comes in the lead in wall balls, I think he's got it.
I'm going Toby. He's going to be the one who wins. Bracken.
BK.
It's hurting you not to say Lucas.
So it feels like Lucas is trending the correct direction. And that James is trending the opposite, that he may just have a season of fatigue underneath him. But James.
You were just going to pick him no matter what. That's your boy.
I was going to say Lucas all the way up until it came out of my lips. You know, I've been riding with LK or LS all the way through this, but yeah, JK, I just.
Where's he going to do it?
The feeling about it.
He's got lunges. JK can do lunges for sure.
Yeah, if Lucas loses, it's because he gets to the lead early and then runs with that lead and just presses and presses and presses until there's nothing left in his legs.
He's going to kill the field, but I don't think he'll do that to Toby.
It's will he crack himself breaking the field or not? That's the question. If he doesn't break himself breaking the field, he wins. And if he does, then I think JK wins. Toby should, but I can't even vote on him because I don't know his fitness right now. So I'm just removing him from the equation.
So in Manchester, last World Championship, Toby went 411 on wall balls at the end. And when he won his world title, he was 430. So
he's not that great at wall balls.
He's not gonna be like a world beater at that.
So JK, he was the second fastest at lunges in DC. And that was when he was a bit out in no man's land here. So if he can be close in lunges,
he can smell it
and close the gap. Yeah. He's going to need to be in front of Toby though.
So when does Toby pass him in this scenario? When has Toby passed him?
On the run.
On the runs
after lunge.
Burpee broad jumps or something.
Oh, you think so?
Yes. I think Toby is behind Luke going in the farmers. But like it's those two. and then he passes him after one of the runs or after lunges or something. But if JK
if Toby
can be
is the
around,
Toby we've seen last year at the end of the year, for sure.
the way he closed at Worlds last year was nuts.
Yeah.
On those runs. That's what I'm thinking. But he can lunge. But JK can lunge. So if he's around, he could close the gap a bit. Have we done our work? Anything else we need to note? Because all that matters is number one here.
I think all right. And also just looking at this list, column D does both. Does that mean that they're planning on running Anaheim?
Yeah.
Because okay, so Tobias is not gonna fly over. Like I don't think he would, and he's only listed at Cologne right there for the likely race that he's doing. So James and Lucas both already put kind of that they have a contingency plan where there's an extra spot available. I just think Toby's gonna pull it off. It's its home country also. Tends to do better there.
And just for reference, last year at World Championships, JK had a faster lunge than Toby as well. Only by like 3 or 4 seconds, but that was when Toby was like really getting momentum. I'm sure they weren't really racing each other.
Yeah.
And just worth noting, Win can lunge, and he can do wall balls. If he's around, if he's even close, he could be someone that pops in Graham Holiday style.
He got sixth at Worlds once, right?
Last year, yeah.
He's the only guy here that people I think are worried about on the back half of I need to get away from him.
Yes.
So Bracken, you mentioned that you're just not sure what fitness Tobias is in because we just haven't really seen it. Like the last time that we saw Jonathan, wasn't that in Vienna and he DNF'd?
He was sick.
I was going to say he's dealing with sickness, so you didn't even get to know what fitness he was in then, and he could have even improved on what he was in had he not been sick. So
yeah, for sure.
He's a big wild card. He could end up winning the thing. Who knows?
He could win for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Good name for that.
All right, our work is done. No, everyone is welcome. You don't have to watch the live stream. That is not going to happen because we just told you exactly what's going to happen. Use your imagination as we do.
End of this episode, we'll give the lottery winnings also because we're definitely going to nail this prediction.
So we think top 4. You want to do all like top 5 in no specific order, or in order?
In exact order.
BK, you cool with this?
Yeah.
Nope.
He hates
Too bad.
It. He hates it. I like Jack answered for you. I like.
How am I supposed to hedge bets on an exact answer?
I know, right?
All right, I'm going first. Tobias second, Lucas third, James fourth, Jonathan, and fifth.
Wait, did you start with 1?
Yeah, instead of the other way because we already discussed everything.
I thought he said Tobias, and then you didn't. And you just said second. I don't think you said first Tobias.
Oh, first Tobias. Tobias.
Like, I thought you were gonna rip one out and like just be like, and win Aitor, Lizaru, Zarzu.
We haven't talked about him.
Zarazu. I like that. I'm gonna go Tobias, Lucas, John Wynn. I think I'm gonna take that. I talked myself into him in the back half. JK and Florian.
In no particular order.
Boo.
That's
Jonathan Wynn.
Boo. Get him out of here.
Jonathan Wynn, James Kelly, Lucas Doroth, Toby, and then battling between Eugenio and Harry S. Thompson for the final spot.
I like it. I mean, if he's in the mix, man, if he manages his energy well, he could close. I wonder how he does it with like wall balls.
I liked his interview before the last race.
Ready to do it. He's like,
he made me a fan.
Ready to throw down. I don't know how he does on wall balls. I would imagine well. He's big. On to the ladies.
How many spots are up for grabs?
I believe
way
3.
different than the men's.
3 women will qualify out of this race because there are 7 total. Correct?
7 so far, I thought. And then we're going to get 3 and then 4. No, they've got to be 8 then if we're going to get to 15.
Yes.
7 left. And I think it's 3 and then you give 1 extra one to the final.
7 have qualified.
Last chance qualifiers. Yeah.
Yes. 7 so far have qualified. Yes. So you get. Yeah. Right.
Would have 8 spots. So does that mean 4?
Is it 4 and 4?
4 and 4? That's crazy if that's the case.
I thought it was 3 and.
I thought it was 2, but I'm looking at this.
8 had qualified already, and then there were 7 left, so you get 3 and then 4. But
Because I'm looking at the World Championship board. It's Michaela, Lauren. Oh, Meg's not on here for whatever reason. Okay, there is 8. They just don't have Meg.
8 so far.
Yeah.
Yes.
And don't forget
3
that
and
the
4.
Elite 15 rarely contains 15.
Sometimes could be less.
Sure.
Sometimes could be more.
Yeah. So this one has 3, not 4.
This is so wide open that again, these are the names that we have been like, again, we can pretty much know that these people are signed up. We have 12 names here. Kate Davey, Jezebel Kremer, Zara Piergiani, Katie Simonson, Antje Hardes, Miriam Van Roer, Jennifer Nicholas, Sika Arning, Jade Skillen, Anila Vilnau, Elisa Schurer, and Rebecca Nather. There could absolutely be athletes who we have not seen, like Jess Towell's not on here.
Yeah. And I thought I heard she was going.
I for some reason I thought that as well. There's another UK athlete who was at Washington who's not on here, who I would imagine would go.
Annabelle
Obank.
Yeah.
Yeah, then like the athlete who won what race was that? The Copenhagen race. Ida's not on here.
He does not. Okay.
Laura Valgren Green.
And she just ran what, 66?
60.
Yeah.
Ida ran 66. This Laura Valgren ran 64 something, right? 64.20.
Yeah. So both are contenders immediately.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there could be names that show up here that we don't know at all. And if we have seen anything on the women's end, that people come out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Athletes can absolutely come out of nowhere. And this field of athletes who are between 64 mid and like 66, and it's anyone's field, if we get a CrossFit athlete type, the issue, which is positive for these women, CrossFit quarterfinals is going to be next weekend. So anybody who's at that high level of CrossFit who may potentially make it into semis, they're not going to show up.
Like a Miriam Van Roer.
So Miriam is interesting. She's the CrossFit Open champion of 2024. Swooped in, took
worldwide
that cash,
leader.
Easy money for her.
What was cash there, huh?
Like
15
$10,000 or 15.
That's
Yeah.
so big.
That's great.
Yeah.
And she got it on a technicality?
So I mean, someone else was cheating.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, not a technicality, but like a recount, essentially. She didn't have it, and then she woke up one morning and they said, you got it now.
After they reviewed the video, she got it.
Oof.
So yeah, she did have an article with Morning Chalk Up saying that her focus is going to be CrossFit this season, but it didn't say that she wasn't going to do this race. It's just kind of said like, if I want to make the games, I got to push my chips more into CrossFit.
Yeah.
But just it seems how the way that she trains anyway, she just kind of does a whole bunch of stuff no matter what. So I'm guessing she's going to be here, but I don't know how well she's going to run. I think that's probably what that means, focusing on CrossFit, is she's just not running. And she'll just get what she gets.
Not ideal.
Not ideal for an 8K race. It's an hour long.
Yeah.
Especially from someone who we've seen really struggle on the run at certain races in the past. Now, I know that our last image of her is not her that we saw on the stream, but at the same time,
she was healthy.
If there was a place to pull chips out of, I wouldn't do it from the run.
Yeah, I mean, her 2 majors so far in Stockholm, she went 65.40 and then 67.54 for the other 2. So I don't think her running's where it needs to be at the moment.
And she's off the back right away.
Yeah.
But in a field without Meg or Lauren, like, I don't know how hard this is going to go out. I don't know. Like, Jennifer Nicholas took out.
She went out hard with them.
But like, she was just kind of pushed to the front. You know how that kind of happens.
Yeah.
You see it in track a lot of times. Like, it didn't seem like she was aggressively taking the lead. She didn't
want to get boxed in, and then she found herself in like second or third. And
like,
Lauren, well, I'm here.
Lauren didn't want to take it. Meg didn't take it. You did? I don't think
really.
So. They were like, it was like they were kind of pulling back, and then no one else wanted to pass Lauren or Meg.
Yeah, but I read it as in that. To me, I thought this is going to be the woman that leads the last chance.
Okay. There we go. So she's in.
I think she wins. She's in.
She's in for the first. She's in first for the ski.
I think so.
I think Kate Davey, best runner in the field.
Yeah.
I
What I love about this race, and Rich already alluded to it, but is that no one in this field has ever had the opportunity to lead a big race.
Yeah.
Because we've never not had Meg or Lauren. Both. We've just never seen it. And so we have no clue who actually likes to front run or who likes to sit, because they've never been allowed to. They've all been just taken to their limit and forced to get hurt from the start. There's almost, for me, there's no predicting this. Who do we even say likes to lead?
And
we've never seen it in a big race.
And the crazier part is, with so many spots on the line, somebody could just go for the lead and still hang on for third, and it works out for them anyway.
The reason I do agree with Rich saying that I don't think anyone might lead is because there's 3 spots. Like 3 is a lot, but it's not a whole lot. When you start looking at your clock, like they're only 7 seconds behind and I'm hurting, I'm going to go back to 10th in a second. Like 3 is not enough. Even if it's 4, it's not enough to go out hard, I don't think. I think it's less reason to go out hard.
Exactly. Like if I was in this race, I would not be even considering taking the lead. I rarely do. But
the men's race is the one to go out hard.
Yes. And like there are athletes who will do who are fine with that.
Rich, you got third your last race. Like how were you like throughout the race again? Like you worked your way up. You didn't establish yourself. And in theory, 3 places were on the line, like obviously more, but you got it in third place by not being aggressive. And I think that almost all the athletes are probably thinking the same thing. It's like, hey, I'm gonna work my way up, and it might not work out for some of them because so many others are doing the same thing.
Because it'll just be if something like that, like if you have a push that is even like 10 seconds slower, you could come out in 15th but still kind of be in it.
Yeah.
It's the old OCR thing where sitting and kicking is great right up into the point where you lose 60 seconds on an obstacle or a carry or burpees. And it's like, well, what was the point of waiting this whole time?
Yeah.
Like you might have a bad pull. You lose 22 seconds.
You get a bad lane. Right.
You're screwed.
Totally.
So it is though the right move is to not overextend, but you have to have your radar scanning aggressively the whole time, keeping tabs on who's moving, who's not. Don't get caught up in fake moves. Get caught up in the real. It's going to be fascinating to watch these people play high level chess when they're not used to being in places to use the big pieces.
So I'm guessing they're all going to come out of ski about the same. And then here's what I'm thinking coming into push. There's one woman in here who I think just doesn't care and will take the lead. Jezebel Gremmer.
Jezebel, really?
I think she just has like a lot of race experience.
Yeah.
I think she's just going to be like, I don't want people hanging around here who don't belong here, and she'll just go. And I don't know if her ability level will be to the point where she can blow the race open, but I think it'll stretch it a little bit so that we're coming in and there's like a sequence of like at least the top 5 to 8 instead of like a big everybody coming in at the same time. Like everybody's sitting. Like that first run I think is going to be very slow, but I think after ski, Jezebel's going to be like, all right, we're good here.
Interesting.
She I watched a lot of OCR coverage, and she always found herself at the front or towards the front, but I never saw her as an intentionally, I'm going to make a move right here type of person.
She's a steady Eddie grinder.
Yeah. And she has as much experience in Hyrox that I think she might know better than to do that.
Nah.
I could see it, but I think if someone takes the lead early, it's someone not on this list, or I think within the first 3 stations, we could see Alina.
She'll be up there. Yep.
Really start asserting herself and having that breakthrough moment. Or it's someone not on this list.
Yeah. Like Seka Arning, she ended up getting 7th place in the only major that she was in. She's got to be up there.
She'll definitely be there.
Mary, like if they take it out not super fast, she could find herself there.
She's in the position that I think like Joffrey was in, where it's like she might not be in it at the sled push, but after the sled push, she'll be in it.
Yeah.
Her highlight.
If her shoes are good, because we already saw
she
that
loses
she had
20 seconds per run.
Yeah.
But the first run I don't think is gonna be fast. and she'll ski as well or better than everybody.
Yeah. So just looking at that, Katie Simonson, is she the only North American athlete coming over on either gender?
And she's been racing in Europe. I don't know if she's like posted up over there because she's done 2 races in Europe the past like month.
Yeah.
I'll put her in. Let's put her in the mix as well. Jade Skillen's a wild card here. She ran
fast
in like Dubai, where it was like really kind of
tall,
crazy.
Dude.
Yeah, but we haven't seen Jade against good competition, against like big competition. I mean, she did beat Jess Tal at that race, so we'll put her in the mix.
Yeah,
basically everybody. Who's pushing?
Everyone will. Rebecca Nathan will be there.
Yeah,
maybe. Well, just
you don't think so?
Everybody's highlighted.
Everyone's in. I'm not going to try predicting anything further from here.
Oh, that's a cop out.
I have nothing to add. They're all really, really, really equal here. And I think someone who wins might not even be on the list right now.
No, for sure. For sure. I think that is I think someone will qualify who's not on this list.
Yeah. Absolutely. Maybe 2 someones.
Potentially, yeah. Yeah. So it's really hard to say what could happen after sled push and pull.
Because we have a 64, 65, and a 66 not on this list, right?
At least.
Yeah, probably more. And we're assuming all these women get in the same heat. Like they're going to get priority because
if they don't do that, like then Hyrox,
that would just be.
They need to go back to square one.
Then I'm forming a federation.
Yeah, then it's a done deal. Let's just fast forward and after burpee broad jumps. Who's in it?
I think Kate Davies got the running legs. Alina, definitely. Like Alina, her 3 majors, she went 63.41 to 66.04. So she has she was 8th in Chicago, 6th in Stockholm, and 8th in Vienna. Like in the women who are ahead of her, pretty much all qualified for World. She's got to be up there.
Yep. I'd say Zara as well. I'm gonna put Jezebel in this. Yep. Is Miriam in the mix?
No,
I don't think so.
I think she's out.
You're only getting 2 things from me from here on out.
No.
Miriam's out. Alina's in.
Okay, so we got 4. Anybody else that we think could be in this?
I can see Jade Skilling.
I think Sika will be there. Anche's interesting. She qualified Elite 15 last year. She didn't perform very well. I haven't seen her do too much this year. I don't know if she'll be around.
It's so crazy that about a year ago, we would have said Miriam wins this going away.
Oh, she wouldn't even be in this race.
Easily, yeah.
She was so dialed to this, and now she's so dialed to something else, and you just can't serve both fitness masters.
It's like Isaiah. It's like you go all into CrossFit. It's not going to carry over to
takes
Hyrox.
Such a toll on you, like just your physical makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jennifer Nicholas got dropped in Vienna. She was about a minute behind Zara at that point, and she went out pretty hard. So I don't know. I could see her maybe sticking around, but I think we're down to about 6 or 7 at this point.
Going into row.
Yeah. Rebecca, she previously competed in the Elite 15, right?
Yeah, she was in
but that was the early
Vegas.
days, I thought.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
No.
For Vegas, you're still legit.
Yeah. I'm just saying the past couple of years hasn't been as much of a force.
We haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Yes. I think she has a 64-65 at like that Maastricht course, which was 4.5 to 5 minutes fast, as Jack Bauer knows.
At least.
Easily that fast. So who's making moves here? BK, you got to say something.
Yeah, I think Miriam would be dropping back, but I think Alina is going to be moving.
Alina's up.
Zara with the experience.
I mean, she's raced a lot. It could go either way, right? Like
Jezebel,
her and Kate, right? They've raced a lot. They have the big race experience, but also they've raced a lot.
And I think in a race where you don't have a Lauren or a Meg pushing the pace so much in the runs, or Linda Meyer, obviously she's a fantastic runner. I think that Kate is she the best runner in this field, like based on splits that you've seen.
Probably.
So it might it might surprise a lot of people to see like, oh, she is the fast one here. Like if you're in this field, you're used to seeing those other top women running fast, and it might be a little intimidating. And just seeing some legs, I think that she'll hang on.
Okay, I like it. I'm gonna look at the wall balls at Vienna.
I'm pulling up Vienna results right now also.
Alina has gotten, like, in her first race of the year in like Spain, she had a tough time on wall balls, but at Vienna she was 333, which I think is a great sign for her. Jezebel was 412. Kate Davey was 406.
Okay.
And Zara was 416. This seems like it's Alina's race.
Yes. But if Jess Toll shows up, like,
yeah,
she beat Alina by a minute basically in DC, and she's got a really fast qualifying time from Dubai. I could see her being one of the three who makes it. So I'd say Alina and Jess Toll, even though Jess isn't on this list, would be my two favorites, and then it's a toss up.
Kate Davey, Jezebel, or Zara? Got to eliminate one. They're like very
so
evenly
similar.
matched.
Yeah.
This is the least fun I've ever had on this show. I'm looking at 12 women here who all have like almost even odds of doing well. There's no science or knowledge behind any of this.
Nope.
This is just spitting in the wind, hoping it doesn't hit you.
It's pretty crazy between those three. You know what? I'm throwing it out there. Miriam's gonna do it.
Oh, no way.
And then we're gonna get
your own buttons.
Then we're gonna get a random third. If she's
maybe
even
if the winner's 67,
if she's
that's not
even
happening.
Close at lunges,
yeah,
she's gonna murder everybody on those wall balls. She has
might
like
not be in the race at lunges.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If she is, if she's even within a minute.
I'm saying she might not be on the course.
Yeah.
She's just gonna be doing like barbell snatches somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have Alina, Kate Davey, and two women not on this list as the top four.
Well, I think 3 qualify.
Who's your other woman?
Well, I don't know. I'm hedging bets, guys.
Like you always do.
I'm gonna say someone not on here.
Yeah.
I think Miriam, she's riding high. A lot of eyeballs on her. A lot of people watching.
I do not think in an event with 5 miles of running that, based on what we've seen this year, she's not in her old running shape. She would destroy everybody in a Hyrox with no running. Not happening this weekend.
She's Toby, right?
This field is not. This is not like an Elite 15 field.
I know.
If she has
if she's anywhere close, 90 seconds close to people to third place.
Her lunges, she's also a sub-3 person, right?
Yeah, she's going to be crushing those.
To date, her lunge wall ball finish is still the most impressive thing I've physically witnessed on a Hyrox course. There's nothing better than that. Still, to me, physically outrageous. If she's within 80% of her capacity in Hyrox, she wins this thing. And it might not be that close by the end. But what is she doing at all for running is the question.
Yeah.
If you were trying to make it to the games, how much running would you be doing?
Not
2
much.
days a week.
Yeah.
So make it 1 for her because you're a runner.
She's already good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, her run total in Vienna was 38:58, and Zara's was 34:44, and she was only like 90 seconds behind her, and gave up 4 minutes on the run. If she can even give up 2.5 minutes,
that's so much.
Yeah, but we're assuming her run didn't get worse since then. Since
Maybe
going all in on CrossFit.
Maybe she's been doing stuff.
She's got her eye on that CrossFit 10K and the bike race and the triathlon and the O course. And she's like, I'm going in. I'm going to be the best runner there.
So I do have some more numbers just based on Sweden, Stockholm for that. So Miriam, she went 337 on the lunges, and then Meg went 355 for second place. So yeah, you're right. You're within 30 seconds. She's gobbling you up. But Alina had the same, or 1 second slower than Meg, 356, Zara 357, Seka 359, and Lauren Weeks was 404. So Zara, Seka, and Alina all can lunge. Scroll down the list a little bit. 408 for Jezebel. She loses about 10 seconds there. but then Kate Davey 436. So that might be where she gets dropped.
Okay.
And then, yeah, if you're looking at the wall ball Seka, she went 327, and Alina 334, Zara 344, Jezebel 409. So Jezebel needs like a minute heading into lunges to hold off Zara.
So you like Zara here?
I might be changing it to Seka Arning based on what I'm seeing here.
All right.
Or closing.
All right. Miriam wins.
Miriam wins. Take a second. Luna's third. Done deal, fellas. That was kind of hard. That was kind of hard.
Yeah, that's really no. I'm doing just Toll.
And
Alina,
someone not
just
on
Toll,
someone
and
not on
and Seka Arning.
the field.
Yeah.
The field has been taken.
That women's race is going to be exciting because you just don't know what's going to happen because the all-time leaders, every single big race that there's ever been, will not be there. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting. It's going to be fun. So they will be running Sunday. We'll know the outcome of the men on Saturday. And we'll have a lot to talk about, I think. We'll just go back and we'll just talk about how right we were this whole time, how we already know what's going to happen, just like always.
Yeah.
Anything else, boys?
I'm spent.
Nothing.
That will do it. What's up on TRP? You guys still doing podcasts?
Yeah, we're going to dabble for a bit. We had
Get it
Ryan
going.
Atkins last week.
Wow.
We've been doing a How to Run Your Best Blank Training Tuesday series. So we did mile, 5K marathon. This week is ultra. That just dropped this morning. And this is not how to complete or how to do your first one. It's how to run your absolute best, boomer bust style.
I like it.
Hyrox
And then
style.
just Kirk and I this week sitting down for a fireside chat.
Oh,
That's nice.
remote fireside or in person?
Remote.
Okay. Did you when you talked with Atkins, did you ask him some of the tough questions? Because
Like
how he said 8 hours was his best distance, and then
I asked him that very question.
you actually did good.
Yeah.
What do you say? I'm not going to listen. Spoilers.
Tune in.
Oh,
Tune in.
man. You hit me with that MBD. Send me a link.
He said the obstacles were child's play and didn't slow anyone down. And outside of one stretch of soft, wet sand running, there was no notable vert or technicality to speak of. And it was just running capacity. And John was like 3 to 4% better at running than him.
Yeah, pretty much what happened.
Yep. All right. Cool. Appreciate you guys listening. If you care to support us on Patreon, you get a live stream and a Facebook chat where we've been fairly active on there. Jack's sprinkling in some fun stuff. If you wanted to fill out your own foolishness bracket, you have the ability to do so right there on our Facebook page. And if there's any other fun stuff that comes along, I think we're going to be doing more fun stuff. Right, Jack? We're going to be
For a
cooking.
little bit. Yeah.
We're cooking it up.
The season's coming pretty soon, though.
Season's coming. We got
And that Atkins interview showed that my pick should have won the April foolishness bracket. Atkins is still owed his pro team stipend, as is his wife Lindsay from
2022.
2022.
It's not good.
2023 World Championships prize money.
Wow.
So it's just further evidence that we should have won.
Yeah. Yep.
Strong case. Yep.
Pretty foolish.
And also, we haven't had a review for a while, so leave us one.
Hit us with a review. We would appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk to you guys soon. Hold on.